You know, in life, they say sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, you can't get what you always want, whatever. I'm not gonna lie, this one upsets me a little bit. Welcome, all fellow wannabes. Welcome to the channel. I am Gabriel Fast. I do claim to be the wannabe critic. Today we're reviewing Future Island's new record, which is called As Long As You Are. Now, I'm pulling this straight from Apple Music. This is quoted as the band kind of describing their sound because I was kind of having a hard time as to how to explain Future Islands. If you look around on all the records, it just says alternative music, but I mean, that could be a variety of different things, but I think the best way to put it is synth pop. So, synthesizers, electronic-ish, things about it, but like poppy. 80s music, like what you heard on the new Weekend record. It's a lot like that. I think this is better, though. It's a hard thing for me with Future Islands because the first song I ever listened to by Future Islands doesn't really correlate to any of their other music at all. It's kind of just like a one-off song. It's called Fall From Grace, and it sounds like this. I remember a friend and myself took a trip to New Jersey, and we were watching a band there, and he was kind of introducing me to a lot of new music, and he's like, hey, check this out. He throws on that song, and I was like enthralled. It gave me the same vibes then as like what Vincent Price's voice did in Thriller. It's just very very gripping and very melodic and very strange and just very, you don't hear stuff like that. Singles, which is the album that featured the song Fall From Grace, is what I just said, was an awesome album. It was, it had a melancholy way about it. It wasn't necessarily trying to be anything else than what it was. And Fall From Grace is kind of a one-off, so to speak, even on that album. So I really shouldn't be upset at the band for kind of going really full force with the whole, synth pop vibe. It was on Islands, it was on their music beforehand, and you could tell, that those themes were present beforehand. But it just seems like it really got ramped up to 100 whenever their next album, The Far Field, came out, and it just seemed so much in a different vein. It just didn't really speak to me the same way that Singles did. Fast forward to now with the new record, it almost seems like they've even taken a step back from that sound. Because honestly, this album, while I still love the band, I still enjoy the genre of music, this album bored me. I was hoping for something to really wow me again and really draw me in, like the first time that I heard Future Islands, but there's nothing present on this new record that does that for me. Now, I know a lot of deep and personal things are put in this record and in the band themselves, like the lyrics, if you really examine it, listen to what the guy is saying, there's a lot of very personal themes there. And I mean, in the bio of the band on Apple Music, it even says that they even started their projects, and I quote, says, Future Islands started out as a performance art project band called Art Lord and the Self-Portraits to critique art world pretentiousness with music. So you're already getting into an interesting genre of music anyways, and an interesting way to write your music and the things you're saying inside the music. There's a lot there. So in a way, like this is very, if you ever watch them live in a live video, like the infamous Letterman performance, they're very expressive band. They are very expressive people. They express themselves very naturally as to what they see fit. So diehard Future Islands fans that love every single thing they put out probably are really going to like this record. I was hoping for something like what drew me in the first time, because you didn't have anything like that. You still don't have anything like that. There's a handful of bands maybe that even kind of give me the same feeling as what that song did. Nothing else in this band's repertoire has ever given me that same feeling, and that's something that I might have hyped myself up for, and I still have a longing for, but I know I'm probably never going to get, which is fine. But that being said, it doesn't change the fact that every song on this album is pretty samey. Yes, it sounds good. Yes, it is enjoyable. Yes, it is on brand with the rest of the music the band has put out. But there's nothing new here. There doesn't seem to be a ton of innovation. It feels more of like a personal type performance from the band, and which, maybe I should pay more attention to it. Maybe I should listen to it several more times than the few times I've already listened to it. But it just didn't speak to me in the same way that anything else that I've heard from the band has. In fact, since I heard Singles, and since Singles was the first thing that I really ever paid attention to, I've been drifting farther and farther away from Future Islands and paying less and less attention. So I was hoping that I would be kind of enthralled once more with a, bombastic performances like what we saw on something, from their past works, especially Singles. I'm telling you, Singles is an awesome album. You got to go listen to it. I just feel like it's a super duper relatable album for anybody. I think you could like any genre of music and probably find a couple of songs off that album to really enjoy. Now, I'm giving a lot of personal critiques. There is a level of musicianship here that is pretty on point. I mean, it's on brand with what the band has done before. It doesn't necessarily speak to me as much as I'd like it to, but I know that there's going to be people out there that it will speak to. That being said, though, I don't think if you're the type of person that is like a future Islands fan, I don't know that this is necessarily going to blow you away just because of the less theatrical nature of what we've seen before. It seems like a toned down version of the last, record that we got a few years ago. So that being said, after all of that, as far as a score goes, I don't think it's bad. I'm not in love with it. I think it's fine. I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. So if you've listened to it, though, I want to know what you think. I want to know, what is your opinion on this album? What's your opinion on Future Islands? Does Fall from Grace kind of speak to you the same way that it spoke to me all those years ago? Let me know in the comments below. Do you have songs like Fall from Grace that have like that really like weird narrative drive to it, to where it's just like, wow, I feel like I'm literally feeling like I'm inside someone's emotions right now? You let me know if you have anything like that, because I definitely want to find more of that. Been on the hunt for a long time, can't find anything like it. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for putting up with my opinions once more. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. If this is your first time here, consider subscribing. It would mean the world. Thank you for the support, and thank you for preparing yourselves for a plethora of hot takes and potentially unpopular opinions. I'm Gabriel Fast. I will always be the wannabe critic.